Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kim and I love sharing with you guys all my luxury indulgences. That includes unboxings, reviews, and any other tips I learn along the way. So if that's something that interests you, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. And with that said, let's get right into it. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about selling your items because of an incident that happened to me very recently. And actually something very similar happened to me earlier in the year. And so I thought it would be really helpful for you guys if I share this experience with you. And it's about selling to these online consignment shops. So I know that there are a lot of videos out there that people tell you, what the process is and how you go about getting quotes and, all that stuff. But I wanted to go over with you guys what happens when something goes wrong. Usually when I sell my items, I do it by myself. I list it in Facebook groups, I've listed on eBay, and I've sold very successfully through both of those formats. But before I sell my items, I always get a quote from the bigger online stores like Fashionphile, Rebag, the Real, Yuki's Closet, because I want to make sure that I am pricing my items correctly. And sometimes when the buyout price is good enough, it's actually better, or it feels better for me personally, to sell through these companies, because then you don't have to deal with the headache of having to ship the items, having to worry about if the item gets lost, or if the buyer claims that the package was stolen. I mean, so many things could happen and could go wrong. So sometimes it is just worth it to take a buyout price if it's high enough. And let me just make this disclaimer. These two incidents happened to me, but I'm not going to generalize it in any way. I'm not going to say that it happens all the time or anything like that. But what happens if you get a buyout code, you send your item, and something goes wrong? So the first incident that happened to me was through Rebag. So I had an item that I wanted to sell. I got quotes from all of the major retailers, resellers on the market, and they all gave me a quote that were very similar but less than what I was looking for. So I decided to list it on my own, which I did. But then Rebag reached out to me. So they sent me an email and said that they really wanted my item and they were willing to work with me. And so I replied to that email that it was just a little bit too low. And they responded by assigning a advisor to me and telling me to work with them, and, maybe they could do something. And I thought, well, if I get a little bit more, I might be willing to sell through them instead of having to sell the item on my own. And so I did contact that person, and it was somebody that was closer to me, kind of local. And so I started corresponding with them back and forth. Sent them a ton of pictures. I sent them good description. I told them what price I was looking for. And, we went back and forth 2 or 3 times. And they usually give you quotes, like a consignment quote and a buyout quote. And they told me that, well, if you do consignment, then you would most likely be making the money you're looking for. And I told them no, because there's no guarantee that it's going to sell. And I just wanted the funds immediately if I was going to go this route. And so I told them, I'm looking for a buyout offer of this much, and that's the lowest I'm going to accept. So then they said they were going to talk to the buyers that are in the headquarters, and that they were going to see if that can be done. So after a lot of back and forth, they actually did say that they would be willing to pay that amount. And so I accepted, and they sent me a label and everything, and I packaged my item up and I sent them. So I am here in Washington State, and Rebag, the headquarters is in New York, and so the item was sent to New York ground, so it took about a week for them to get it. And once they received it, I waited a few days, and then I get this email, and it says, "We are sorry, but we cannot accept your item, and we will ship it back to you." So immediately I am alarmed, because I thought that there was an issue of authenticity. And so I reached out to them and I said, hey, I just got this email. I don't know what's going on. The item is 100% authentic. I can show you proof and all of that. And can you look into this? And they come back with a reply that their buyers are experts in this field, and unfortunately, your item is something that they cannot accept. And it was a jewelry piece, just so you know. And I was shocked, and I was like, well, that makes no sense. Can you like be more specific about what they said? Like, what is the problem? Is it something that I can remedy? Because by this time I had already wasted like 2.5 weeks, like going back and forth with them, like waiting for them to receive the item and all that. So I really wanted to just get my payout if I could. And they came back and said, oh, we're just sorry, it just doesn't meet our standards. And I just got so frustrated at this point. I wasn't getting a clear answer. And it was at this point that I looked up, I did some searches in Facebook groups, and I found that actually this has happened before. So Rebag will give you a quote, you will send your items, and they will just say, I'm sorry, we don't want it anymore, and just send it back to you. And I was shocked that I was not the only person that this had happened to. And I'm not going to say it was frequent, because the person who had posted that question about has this ever happened to you was super shocked that it happened. But it was more than one person, just so you know, that this had happened to, and it had also happened to me. And so they said, we're just going to send you the item back. And like I said, they're in New York, they send it ground. So it was a week before I received it. And during that time, I'm kind of like worried, is it going to like make it to me all right? You know what I mean? It's a high value item, and you don't want to ship it back and forth if you can avoid it, right? So anyways, I was really, really disappointed in the whole experience. Number one, you told me that you wanted the item, and you wanted it so bad that you were willing to up the price 3 times in order to purchase it from me. Then upon receiving it, you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want it anymore. And you guys, like, I had sent so many photos, and there was nothing that warranted not meeting standards or anything like that. And now that I know that Rebag can just back out of an offer that easily, I will never sell to Rebag, because it is a total waste of my time. And the fact that it has to travel across country to get there, and if they reject it, it has to come back to me. Like, no, never again. The second experience was a very, very recent experience, and it was through Fashionphile. So you guys all know Fashionphile has a very, very good reputation as being a very easy place to sell. And I find that to be true, except for this instance. And let me tell you what happened. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that recently I shared that Fashionphile had my item for 17 days and I was still not paid. And I was like, what is going on, right? And Fashionphile then reached out to me immediately, asked me for my email, and that they were going to look into it. So I was very, very happy at how quick I got a response when I posted that on Instagram. But this was what had happened. So I had sent my item to Fashionphile, and this time it was another jewelry piece. They had given me a phenomenal buyout quote. So I thought, oh my gosh, yes, I will definitely sell to Fashionphile. And no questions asked, I sent the item to them. So they received it on October 4th. Now, I checked my account on Fashionphile daily after that. I also checked my emails and my junk trash box to make sure that I wasn't missing a notification from them that the payout was made. Because this was a jewelry piece, I knew that it took longer than, say, for a handbag. I actually waited without emailing them or anything for about 14 days. Now, when it hit 2 weeks, I was getting a little bit anxious. I wanted to make sure there was nothing wrong. And so I sent them an email through their website, but I didn't get a response, which is why I then posted on Instagram saying what is going on. They responded very quickly through that. And they said they had actually reached out to me on the 8th, that the item was not what they thought it was. So basically, I had sent a 5mm ring, and they thought it was the 6mm version, which makes a big difference in the price, and that they were offering a much lower buyout offer and asking if I was going to accept. Now, immediately upon seeing that, I was very, very upset. Number one, because I had been checking my emails and my junk mailbox daily, and that email never got to me. In addition, the buyout offer that they were now giving me was a lot less than what was initially promised. And I had already passed up a very, very good offer that was more than this new buyout offer in order to send it to Fashionphile. And so in the heat of the moment, I sent a reply. I said, I think it's really, really wrong for you guys to do this. The mistake was not anything that I did. I gave you accurate pictures. I gave you an accurate description. They always had the option of, clarifying with me before they gave me a buyout code, was my thought process. And so I told them, it's an error on your end. You should honor the original buyout price. And, why do I have to pay for a mistake that whoever gave that quote to me made? So I waited, and they didn't reply back to me for, I think it was like 1 or 2 days. I get a reply back, and they said that they were very sorry. They understand that I'm very disappointed at the new offer, but that I could either accept or reject it, in which case they would return the item back to me. So by this time, I had kind of calmed down and kind of been able to assess the situation. So in a more calm, cool manner, wrote an email back to them saying that is really, really unfortunate. And I asked them if they would be able to honor the other buyer's quote that I had given up in order to accept Fashionphile's quote. And it was higher than their buyout offer by several $100s. And they replied back that yes, they would honor that buyout offer, and that they were very sorry about the whole situation. And also that they wanted to make this transaction as seamless and easy as possible, and that they would help to expedite things so that I would get my payment as soon as possible. So I was really, really happy with the outcome. It was very different from my experience with Rebag, where they didn't give me a good enough reason for sending it back to me. Whereas Fashionphile, they just were very cordial. They were very understanding of the situation, and they did try to make it right by matching that other buyer's offer, which they didn't have to do. But I thought that was really, really honorable for them to do, and it did restore my faith in Fashionphile. Those were my 2 experiences. I just wanted to share these stories because it's really, really hard selling. When things go wrong, you just panic, you don't know what to do. And just be cautious when you sell to Rebag, because they can send your item back to you, no reason. And if you need the funds quickly, then it could be like a month wasted. It really could. In contrast, Fashionphile was try to make things right, and I truly appreciate that about them. So in the future, if I do sell to a company, I will continue to ask for quotes from Fashionphile. And if the buyout offer is good, I will definitely sell to them, because their process is so, so easy. At times they will give you really lowball offers that hurt, but you don't have to accept that offer. When you do accept an offer and something goes wrong, they did try to make it right. And I definitely will continue to sell through Fashionphile. So those are my experiences. Let me know what you think about those 2 incidents, what you would have done if you were in my place. I'm really sharing this to try to help you guys. And if you have any other questions about selling, please let me know. You can always DM me on Instagram. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Take care, everybody.